Do you consistently set yourself up for success or failure? Self-sabotage is the theme. Looking to 2025 goals, suggestions that have worked for us in attaining our goals so far. So again, the question is, do you consistently set yourself up for success or failure? Self-sabotage. Let's talk about it.
Okay,
Eunice?
so let's use that role. Okay, you had a lot of extenuating circumstances, 3 weeks to learn two roles, including an 11-minute song. Now, someone else, let's say you, if you had 3 months, do you feel like you would have started learning it before 3 weeks before showtime? You know how people procrastinate and say,
Absolutely.
I do better when I jam. Some people will have the time to prepare, but still won't prepare until it's a jam.
Well, you know what? It's funny you say that because I think that's fair. I probably wouldn't have started learning that part until the month end, but a month in versus only having 3 weeks to learn something means I definitely even deduced when I started really giving time. I've like said, oh, I can learn this in a week.
Right. It was still less than 3 weeks. Right. Exactly. So now is that setting yourself up for success or failure?
I think that's rude.
No,
And
most of
at
us
the end of the
do
day,
this
this was
though.
supposed to be about you. You're supposed to give your account and I'll give
I
mine.
am.
So why
I
don't you
am.
go ahead and talk about
But it's just
yourself?
because we were talking about that. And I think that is something most of us do. I do that. Like if I know I have to be somewhere at 5, if I know the podcast and we're going to record at noon, I probably won't actually start getting ready for it in any way until about 11:45.
Yeah, same.
Okay. Now, I know it's going to be at noon, so I can start at 9 and just have it set up and ready. Or I could, and so I think it's so many of us in our lives. Are we setting ourselves up? Because what is this rush about? I got it done by the skin of my teeth, and so I'm looking forward and I'm looking ahead. I like to be prepared. I like being at the airport 30 minutes sitting at the gate. I like to have time to breathe, but consistently I usually won't give myself the opportunity to enjoy the time I have to be as prepared as I could be for various opportunities.
I think that I do sometimes set myself up for success. I think my internal dialogue and overthinking can
Mhm.
sometimes work against the success of a thing because I'll tell you what I wrestled with. I'm exposing a lot, but with this part in particular, I felt that I let them down. And that was the pressure of trying to get it because all I could hear was they are paying me to do this job that I agreed to before knowing that it was two parts. I didn't know
Mhm.
that. But I didn't say, hey, I can't do two parts once, I did find out that it was two parts.
Mhm.
I was thinking, okay, surely if it's been done before, because David Mann played those two characters the year before, and he executed extremely well. I was just like, then I can do it. I can
Mhm.
definitely do it. I felt like I was letting them down. And then I started having a paranoia that they had an issue with me.
Mm.
I literally
After you
felt
after
this.
you told them you couldn't do the other role. Okay.
Yeah. And I started like feeling like everything, like, not realizing that there's a perspective of these two very busy folks that are having to oversee 200 cast members, 200, over 200 cast
Mhm.
members, were probably focused on other things. And I was not their primary focus every single time. So
Mhm.
like if we would go places and they didn't speak, I'm thinking, oh, they're annoyed with me. They're upset with me. And I remember one of the lead wise men said, you got to relax. And I'm like, they're not saying anything to me. They're like talking to everybody else. And I'm like hyper analyzing a thing that probably was not true. And even if it was, what is it serving me to take on that negative perspective that only then brings negative energy that only then brings negative output. And so I had to
Listen, I'm gonna tell you, we all do that, and I will compare your big thing with I text someone good morning yesterday and they haven't responded. And in my brain,
yeah,
I'll never speak to them again in my life. Right? They
listen.
hate me. They're not speaking to me. I don't know what and so we tell ourselves these stories that we know logistically and analytically and as rational people are not real. Did you know in real time it wasn't real, or only in hindsight can you say, man, I really kind of overreacted? And I'm sure they
Uh,
were glad, like you said, they told you, thank you for telling us, because you could have just waited till showtime and just messed up them 11 minutes. It messed up the
right.
production.
Yeah. Um, I will say this. I think I don't want to say a gift and a curse, but I think it's a gift and a challenge for me. I have a gift of discernment.
Hmm.
And oftentimes that which I sense is fairly accurate.
Okay.
However, even if I'm sensing that they may not be speaking to me or focused on me, does not mean the reason why is because of whatever I'm thinking.
Right.
And so I have to, one of the things about having a gift, right? You may be great at it, but you are not perfect at it. And we have to understand that we may have a gift, but we're human containers of the gift. And our humanity is prone to miss the mark because that's just what humanity is. It's a flawed reality, beautiful creation, but it's flawed. Like it does not get everything right. So you have to leave room for the flow of whatever comes, so
Hmm.
shall it be.
Hmm.
And and for me, I didn't make room for, yeah, maybe they're not talking to you right now because you just presented them with another challenge that they now have to then focus on the other challenge. So maybe it's not personal that they want to hurt my feelings. They're like, I got to figure out how to fix this.
Hmm.
That makes a lot of sense. And I know that one of the things that I always want is for people to give grace to me
Hmm.
for the misunderstandings that they may have of my intention and whatever. I gotta be quick to give it if
Hmm.
I'm quick to want it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the thing. And because so in hindsight, I don't know if I was fully wrong, but I do know that I wasn't fully right.
Hmm. Okay.
So that's where I'm at. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think in most situations a right or wrong. You know me, I don't do judgments. I don't think there's a right or wrong in general. There's a, did it serve you well? Did it accomplish
Mm.
what you were looking to do
Now,
or
what did
not?
that do for you? Right.
Right. It is what it is. Right, wrong, who cares, right? So I don't really get into, like, who was to blame, whose fault. It's like, did we facilitate what we came to do? If not, let's just not talk about it anymore, right? So I think all of us do that maybe 25 times a day.
Hmm.
Whether it's the not preparing, not setting ourselves up to get it done in a timely fashion, because we know ourselves. I mean, I've done this in 5 minutes. Why would I take the 5 hours allotted when I know I can do it in 5 minutes? Right.
That
Well,
part.
then 10 minutes after that 5 minutes, you think, man, if I had took 20 minutes, it would have been better. Could have been better. Could have been better. I can see that it could have been better. By my own standards. But what is it about us? Is it and I'm saying us meaning probably most of the people listening and watching, we do this thing where we'll have the time and we won't take advantage of it. We'll let the time take advantage of us. And then we find ourselves in a circumstance or situation where it is December something, less than 2 weeks left in the year, and you're thinking, wait, I was gonna do this and this and this and this in 2024. Let me get it done in 2 weeks. It's like literally the
Listen,
year has come
if
and
time is
gone.
given,
And
if time is
now,
given,
right.
yeah.
And so now the question is, we're looking now ahead to 2025. Yes, you don't have to wait and start a great new thing next year. And no, this year is not over. You don't have to give up on this year because it's 2 weeks left. It still is about what we do at the beginning of every episode and be present and breathe. And what can or would you do now? A lot of times we'll do what we think we can do. A lot of times we'll do what we should do. But I am challenging people to do more of what you would